Well, hey everybody. Hey YouTube. It's Chuck. I'm back. Oh my gosh, what a road trip. I've been gone for 2 weeks, and FSDBeta 2.4.1 has basically been installed in my car. I was on a road trip, made it to the shareholders meeting, to everyone that came up and said hello, took selfies, shared with me your stories, and was just nice and warm and welcoming. Thank you. I really enjoyed meeting every single one of you. And that's primarily the main reason I go to those events, is just to meet our Tesla family, to hang out, and to enjoy each other. So thank you to all those that came up and said hello. I'm sorry I don't remember everyone's name, and that's okay. But just recognize you're always welcome to come up and say hi anytime you see me around. But in any case, this is going to be my Memorial Park First Impressions Drive. Granted, it's late. You got a lot of content out there from others on this version that have it. But I think they've stopped the rollout of this version because it doesn't seem to have gone very far. AI Driver has reported some lane shifting issues, so we'll see if we see that. I'll do one unprotected left turn, a U-turn, and some other things, and we'll do some conversation while we drive. But just to show you, here is FSD 12.4.1. It looks like we got navigation data of 2024.8, and we are up to 2024 build 15.5. And that 15.5 is an important thing because the 12.4 FSD builds are now above the spring update. So the spring update is now incorporated. And as you notice, when you get new software, you've got these blue dots. So I'll just kind of go up here on the autopilot. And if you go down to autopilot, you see you got this new tag. New tag next to expanded full self-driving visualization. I'll go ahead and turn that on, see if we notice any difference there. And I don't see any other new buttons there. And then I'll go under navigation. And under navigation, we've got speed camera chime. I believe, actually, I'm remembering that from my Cybertruck. That's been on the Cybertruck, I believe, if I make a mistake. Anyway, that's the intent of the blue dots. The blue dots take you to the new, and the new items sometimes will have a little info button to describe it, or if it's self-explanatory, you can just turn it on. And after you take a look at it, if you notice, the blue dots go away as little reminders. This system doesn't work perfectly. There are a lot of times that they just pop back up, even though you've already taken a look at them. If you also see down here on the menu icons, Spotify's got a blue icon, and if I hit the menu tray, it looks like Audible's got a blue icon. So these are things that came in the spring update, I believe, without making any mistakes there. Okay, so we are set on the software discussion. I've got my typical route for my revised route that incorporates the unprotected left and a few other things. I do want to mention on my little street here that goes right out to the unprotected left-hand turn, because this traffic on this street sometimes goes pretty fast, the neighbors have invested in some speed bumps. So the speed bumps, if you notice, there's 2 to the left and there's 1 to the right. So those ADAS drivers, and now we're going to get a look at a speed bump right here that used to not be here. And it slowed down right as it approached it down to 14. Okay, so here's the expanded view. It's definitely different. You see, I didn't have to swipe it over, but I've got this media source button there. And I'm trying to figure out if I can make that go away, but let me focus on driving here. There's my creep. Let's get an unprotected left turn. Oh, we're going to get a gimme on Saturday morning. So this is just going to be a roller. All right, so this is not an unprotected left-hand turn test, but it did go smoothly with no issues there. Okay, now let me go ahead and edit my trip and get my south out of there and get my U-turn programmed in. It should program fairly quickly. And I believe we have a U-turn in there now. Yeah, so I can swipe this and show you guys. There's the U-turn. Pay attention to the road. There's my nag touching the screen. Actually, I shouldn't touch the steering wheel here. This should be a new one because I don't need to touch the steering wheel on this version as long as I'm paying attention to the road. Unable to complete maneuver did come up. Let's see what it does here. Please assist now. It's acting like it's going to try it, though. Let me see. Unable to complete maneuver. Okay, it's going to go for it. It's wide gap. It chose the right spot. Hesitant. No. Ooh, and a nice boost once it realized it was going to make the radius a turn. So I liked that. Trying to get the media source to go away. Do you guys remember how to do that? Oh, God, I'm so bad at this. No. See, when it's in that mode, I can make it go away by swiping down. Oh, my Spotify account. Oh, I don't actually. Oh, pay attention to the road. See, it busted me there. So now I'm paying attention to the road, and it looks like it went away. So I don't know if I like this expanded view for beta testing because I can't make this media source go away. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. just for the purposes of learning. If you guys know how to make me get rid of that, no, it's still there. Please pay attention to the road. It's flashing again. I'm putting my eyes straight forward and it is going there. So if I repay attention to the road with this nag, that goes away. I didn't touch the steering wheel at all, but it is kind of warning me a little bit. Come on, guys. How do I get that ready to go away? In expanded mode, I can't make it go away. I bet there's a way to... You guys know how to do it. There's somewhere to touch on this screen. All right, there's pay attention to the road. I'm looking straight ahead again. I got cheaters on, so I don't have sunglasses on, but I got cheaters. So it looks like when I'm looking at the screen, it knows what I'm doing. I haven't touched the steering wheel here. All right, it's getting in the left lane. Yeah, so I can still touch that. You notice we have the navigation in the upper right-hand corner. That's part of the expanded view. The Cybertruck has that. This is the spring update, basically. Automax, all these other symbologies are the same. This trip menu bar. I bet there's a setting in here that I can do to make that go away. All right, so we got navigation going to the left up there. Oh, that's good. See, I can see that. We're getting in the left-hand turn lane. Pay attention to the road, Chuck. Okay, this is going to be a gimme. It's a flashing yellow. We're going over the railroad tracks. See, Saturday morning, I'm sorry I didn't do this during the week. Saturday morning is just too low at traffic. So this is just going to be an easy function test. But, all right, slowing for the railroad tracks. Oh, wow, it almost stopped. We got all the way down to 11 miles an hour. That's great. All right. And a little slow here. It's okay. And coming up to our first intersection where it looks like we're going to have a car opposing us on the other side. This is it's going to be timed just about right where we're both going to be at the stop sign. So I got to do a creep here for sure because there is a hedge here. Oh, he's coming fast. Don't go. Okay, so that is what the creep is for, and it went just fine. And as we go by this guy here, that's pretty good. It didn't have any issues with the narrow road on that one. So narrow road seems to have been resolved with 12.0, actually. Okay, we got a good-sized truck here. Let me see if I pull up my rear view cameras. You can see how much of the right side of the road it uses. All right, it didn't really give him much room, did it? I didn't have to scoot over much. He probably had to scoot over more than me. I would have gone over to the right a little bit more, and if you saw on the camera there, we definitely had more room. Creeping here for... it's fine. It's wide open. So it looks like we're going to have the rest of the straightaway here is going to be just fine. And one more speed bump. It's slowing down for it. Oop, didn't slow down much for that one, so we kind of missed that one. The speed was fine, but typically it likes to go down to 15 to 17 miles an hour for those speed bumps, kind of that size anyway. All right, nice creep here. This is a double large median intersection. Sometimes it gets confused about stopping on the second half. It puts another creep line up there, but it rolled that one just fine. Now here we're going into a shady road here, and I've noticed that the auto speed in shade is, look how slow it's going. It's going 15. Nothing different about this road other than it's shaded that I know of. The speed limit's the same, but it's choosing to go a lot slower here. Speed bump right here, so it's already going a good speed for the speed bump. There it is. So I don't know. I think that the shading and the lighting is creating a scenario there that it's you know, taking more caution, I guess. Okay, here's our unprotected left with a suicide lane. Try to give you a little bit of a view there. Probably not much traffic. Okay, we're clear to the left, but not from the right. So it's probably going to wait. Typically suicide lanes, it does not go to the median. All right, we're clear in both directions now, so it should just roll this. All right, let's see if it uses the suicide lane at all. No, smoothly out to that lane there. That was good. All right, I got to edit my trip, get rid of that guy without getting busted. All right. Pay attention to the road. Boy, I tell you, doing these beta drives with pay attention to the road without using the steering wheel to keep the attention there is different because I got to keep looking forward. I hadn't touched the steering wheel at all. Okay, so now we're doing a unprotected left with a nice roll gap here. It should go. There's a car coming over the hill. It needs to go, though. Give me a commit. Ooh, I would have liked a little more commit there. The gap was fine, but that car was approaching much quicker. Okay, so here we have a two-lane road. Never had an issue with this pretty much since version early 11. The narrow roads issue early on was a problem here, but has not been in a while. The markings are good. The speed's good. You see, it definitely is being aggressive on the speed limit here. But by going a little bit faster, which is fine. If a car were backing out of these driveways or something like that, I would expect it would slow down appropriately. But that's good. All right, probably not much to say here. I'm going to go ahead and edit my route again. All right. That should be good. Pay attention to the road, Chuck. Okay, I got to get used to this no nag thing. This is amazing. Well, first of all, it's reacting very quickly to my eyes front. So, you know, those of you military guys, you remember standing in formation and your drill sergeant said, eyes front. As soon as I go eyes front, it seems to recognize it. So this camera is aware. But just for grins, let me see if I put my hand up here, if it doesn't like that. I'm just blocking it with, apply slight turning force to steering wheel. See that? That's different. So if I apply tight, okay, so now cameras blocked or blinded, driver monitoring may be limited or unavailable. So I'm having to use my hand now. Okay, look at that. I got take over immediately. So I wonder if I got a strike just there. Uh-oh. Okay, let me see what happens. Chuck's in jail. Okay, I got it back. Okay, so that wasn't a strike, I don't think. So okay, don't do that. I got to take over there just by putting my hand up there. That's interesting. I didn't mean to do that. It's never done that before, but it didn't like it at all. Even though I was giving it a tug on the steering wheel, I thought that would have made that go away. Okay, so now you know what that does. If the camera's blocked or blinded, it does not like it, even with putting a tug on the wheel. Okay, here's a good one. We got a pedestrian with a stroller at the same spot as the railroad track with a hump that it can't see on the other side. Now, you need to give her plenty of room. Okay, that's a good curve. Plenty of room for, great. That mom was not scared at all pushing her kids there. Nice and slow going over the hill. If there had been an oncoming car, it would have been interesting to see how it chose to handle the railroad tracks crossing and that little hill right there. But the honor of the VRU was good. It was a little late in my mind, but it may have been because it couldn't see over the hill. Those of you that are cyclists, you probably would say, I need you to show me early your intent. You know, get over early so I know that you're moving over. At that situation, it actually moved over a little bit late. Okay, so here you notice with relatively good lighting, but some shade on the street, I'm now going 8 miles under the speed limit. 22 and a 30. I wonder if it's because of that shading again. So here I am on the right side of this road with more shading on the street. And it's treating this road, very wide road. I got a car here with a blinker. That truck just had to go around it. Looks like it's going to be cleared up by the time we get there. Yeah, so this road has always been a little bit slow. If you look back at my previous videos here on this intersection or this road, it's always been a little slow. Don't know why. What it's seeing to give more caution. Like in that 2-lane road back there, just a few minutes ago, it was going 37 and a 30. And here on this turn, it's just all the way down to 15. Didn't use a blinker, which is great. 90-degree turn, no blinker. And we're rolling. Yeah. Ooh, what's it doing here? Almost a stop. Ooh, that might have been for that. It slowed down for what may have been some rough road there. It wasn't potholes, but it was one of those patches in the road that was really, really rough. It definitely slowed down a little bit for that. That might give us some hope for the pothole detection coming up. That'd be really, really interesting. All right, here at a red light, I'm going to look away while I'm at a red light and see if it doesn't like it. Like, see, normally, like, you can look at your phone and stuff. So I'm going to look at the screen way down here. I'm definitely not looking at the road. I got my hat down. It's okay with that. You notice that? So if you want to look at your phone while you're at the red light, I'm going to let the red light turn green and see how long it takes. There's one potato. Ooh, real quick. A second and a half, I got to pay attention to the road after the light went green. So that's great. So just so you know that stoplights are kind of okay. You don't have to look straight ahead or whatever. Couple pedestrians up here in the shade with some dogs. One dog, let's see. Slow to give her a little bit of room. Little bit of room. That's good. She was in the shade, but it definitely saw her, and it gave her a little bit of distance, even though it was actually of no concern. Real good here. 29 and 30, that's fine. That's close enough. I shouldn't be going too fast anyway. These pedestrian crosswalks are there. All right, we're coming up on our mini roundabout. You guys are probably, it's a traffic circle, I guess, not a roundabout. I need to get my terms right. We don't have many of these in Florida, so I really don't know what to call them. A yield with nobody coming, it should roll it. 13, it's rolling it a little slow, but it did roll it. Little slow. If somebody was right behind me, they would be like, what are you doing? All right, now you need to accelerate. So that was half speed. It should have gone about 25 on that one, without a doubt. Okay, this one we're taking a right and going on the S-turn. Got a cyclist up here that's not a factor, but it is mapping a cyclist just fine. That's good, even though he's off in the distance. And it's here we come to the right. So I'm still intervention free and have not touched the steering wheel once I realized I didn't need to. I just got another pay attention to the road. I was kind of looking to the left there with my eyes. So I'm going to put my head in the headrest like I'm looking straight ahead, but I'm going to turn my eyes to the left. Eyes are to the left. Eyes are to the left. No, it's hard to do and actually drive. Let me go eyes left. Oh, it's hard. It's because I need to look to the road. But if my head is looking like I'm looking ahead, I'm going to close my eyes like it looks like they're closed. I'm squinting. Squinting. Yeah, I'm squinting. Maybe the camera thinks my eyes are closed. Maybe. I can still see. Maybe it knows I'm squinting. It's not busting me on this. I'm looking straight ahead with my eyes squinted. Surely it can't see that I'm squinting. It's kind of letting me do it though, isn't it? I'm looking straight ahead like I'm sleeping. Okay, it's happy with that. But if I turn my head to the right and squint, it's hard to do and be a safe driver. I can't do this anymore. Okay, there's cars coming. I don't know. Maybe you can trick it with eyes closed. Pay attention to the road. See, as soon as I looked at eyes open at the screen, it busted me. That's interesting. So I wonder if my head angle has more to do with it. I got cheaters on, not sunglasses, so it can see my eyes probably through it. It's going really cautious here. No pedestrians, no interactions. This is a low traffic drive. This is more of a functional drive, I think. And also, I'm not getting many of those multi-lane opportunities to do lane change detection either. It's being cautious here because any of these cars could be backing out at any moment. So this is a good speed. We do have a lead car that's also kind of... Ooh, what's it doing? Oh, shucks. I wasn't paying attention, guys. I got to change my route. That was one of my intermediate points. So that was my navigation. It put the blinker on, though. Interesting. It stopped right in front of the restaurant I had, Biscotti's, as the destination. It looked like it was just going to pull over instead of pulling to a parking spot. That would have been actually funny if it pulled all the way into the parking spot before I realized I needed to update my route. Okay. So we hadn't seen any lane changing. We hadn't seen anything like that. So far, 12.4.1 is doing pretty good. It has not had any traffic, so this has not been, I would say, a hard test. But functionally, it's been really, really smooth. The no nag is nice, and I feel like the logic is good. Mostly because it's reacting quickly to my looking straight, eyes front, if it catches me off guard there. Yes. See, I still want to make that go away. My little OCD. If you guys know how to do that, it's going to be like pouring in the comments on this video, isn't it? All right, on this straightaway, I'm going to change subjects just a little bit and talk about the shareholders meeting. What an absolute blast. For those of you that watched the shareholders meeting end to end, if you watched some of the questions, Elon actually acknowledged the unprotected left-hand turn. And of course, I was in row 3 and stood up and shouted, Chuck's left turn. And, Elon made a little acknowledgement of the turn as one of what he said. What are we doing there? That was the first time it's ever done a tug at a yellow light, as if it was not sure if it wanted to stop or not. I wonder if this truck created that scenario at all. But that was a different behavior. Anyway, Elon said they've got 1,000 intersections they've identified or something like that they're handling, and he used my turn as one of those intersections that they're testing. Now, I don't know if they're sending ADAS drivers to all 1,000. That would be a lot of ADAS drivers. Or if here in Jacksonville, my ADAS drivers are knocking out 300 of them. I don't know. But I know, my turn, and there's probably 10 within a radius of 5 miles of my turn that these guys could be using. But if they're doing 1,000, that's a whole lot of testing. All right, protected left-hand turn. It needs to get over in the right lane quickly, and it smoothly went to that, no problem. And let's see, right turn signal with a green light, so it should just roll it. This truck in front of us has been controlling our speed pretty much for the last half mile or so it's been pretty straightforward. All right, let's see here. I've been going back to the shareholders meeting. So a lot of conversation about the progress of FSD, and there's a little bit of lane indecision there. That was a little bit new. Normally it knows where to go there. And the progress of intervention-free driving. Obviously, Elon made it sound like, for him and for the testers, it's miles and miles and miles per intervention. Now, I guess here on this situation, I have to acknowledge I have not intervened. This is really, really good. There will be scenarios that we trip it up. We'll figure out what they are. But as long as they're getting fewer and fewer each release, we're getting there. We're progressing. 12.4.1 had some issues, it sounds like, in some areas with lane changes. That's the biggest one I've heard. Most other things are focusing around the improvements with no nag. But we'll see. I'll try to get some high-speed cross traffic and do some unprotected lefts, because if you watch my last unprotected on 12.3.6, it was just absolutely horrible. So not sure what to expect there. Today, we did not get an adequate test of that. Okay, what's it doing? Fully stopping for nobody here. This is new. I don't know what it's doing. It's going 10 miles an hour. And, oh, don't make me. Oh, there's nobody, but what's it going to do? Okay, this would be an intervention if there was a car. Okay, it stopped in the middle of the traffic. Okay, intervention number 1. I have no idea why I did that. There was nobody coming. There was a pedestrian crosswalk sign there, but there were no pedestrians, and it has already gone through 10 of those so far. What was different about that one? It was a little offset. What do you guys think? Did you see anything that would have made it stop there in the middle of the road? I gave it about 10 seconds. If there was a car right behind me, I would have intervened right away. So I'm not exactly sure what to think there. Okay, my destination is getting ready to come up. I'm going to see if it does the right turn here or if it's going to pull off. It should not try to stop here. 75 feet, autopilot ending. Okay, it's going to stop. No, pull off to the right. I really want it to follow that route. Okay, it's rerouting there. I'm not going to let it do that. Okay, I'm going to go down here only because I like to do this little section where that was pure navigation. It was just going to a fixed point. I thought I had updated this to where it goes over into this little parking lot to update that. And maybe I'll even try to, I'll do that later. I'll add I need to add a new waypoint that forces the navigation for a better scenario here. And maybe I'll even make the navigation one of these parking spots over here. Let me do that now. Let me make this. No cars behind me. That's going to be my new point. And I'm going to go there. And okay, so now I'm going to engage it. And let's see where it goes. Okay, so see, it's going kind of up here where these parking spots are. And I'm tapping the accelerator to get it going. And it's going 9 miles an hour and a 25. Unusually slow. It might be doing the looking for parking spots thing. 100 feet, navigation ending. There definitely are parking spots here that are open. I would love for it just to pull into one. 50 feet. Is it going to do it? Maybe I needed to put the spot back there a little bit more. Let's see what it's going to do here. Is it just going to stop? Yeah. Okay, there were plenty of parking spots here. So I'm just going to disengage real quick, and I want to hit that P. Show you guys this. Auto park is ready. All right, it's clear to the left. Remember last time I had one situation where it kind of jumped out and kind of ignored traffic here. Interesting, yeah, showing the median. It's got the lines there, so this is going good. Always be careful in auto park, guys. This is a different stack than the FSD 12 right now, so treat it differently. It's good software, but just treat it differently. Like, it might not have the same obstruction clearance and stuff like that, and it might not be honoring cars and you're using the same stacks and stuff. Okay, that was good. I think I want to add, let's see here, I'm going to add that right there. And I'm going to go favorite, and I'm going to call this my new FSD. For those of you who do a lot of testing, I create a profile called beta testing, and I create waypoints and I use FSD in them, and it essentially allows me to create kind of routes using just FSD waypoints, right? So let me go ahead and edit my trip, and we're done with Memorial Park, and we're just doing the FSD beta return now. Got some cyclists here. That would be awesome if I was able to engage it before them, but I think what's going to happen is it's going to go behind them. Got that route in there. Okay, oh wow, okay, now it's on. So I engaged it just after they passed. Let's see how it treats them. And let's see how they treat me, right? Okay, they're kind of crisscrossing. The car is going to be very cautious. Now they're starting to line up on the left, but we're going around a turn, so the radius of turns of concern. They're going slow. This is totally fine. I don't have a problem. It should not be overly aggressive here because there isn't a lot of room and they're kind of meandering a little bit, but now they're going to get uncomfortable. So now I'm pressing the accelerator because they're starting to get uncomfortable. Okay, I let off the accelerator. That was an intervention, but that was a convenience intervention for what those cyclists wanted. Once they kind of made their way over, they wanted me to go past them. So I did that. I don't know that FSD did it wrong there, but I sort of needed there not to be a driver in the seat for them to look at this car and go, oh, it's a robo-taxi. Okay, we're clear left and right. It should just go left. Nice creep there. For those of you guys that want to look at that more closely, that has a huge tree where it has to look behind the tree in order to see that around that corner. It's a great intersection that shows the versatility FSD is using in order to get visibility that's adequate. It's not always the same, like it has to go all the way to the limit. It got visibility from behind and then proceeded there. All right, we're coming up on that intersection where it stopped on the last one. Let's see if the dynamics go in the other direction or any different. Doesn't look like it. Look at this. So now it's going. What? You know what? I normally don't do this, but that one confused me so much. I'm going to do another test. You know, you guys keep telling me that you like it when I test these things to kind of repeat. And the lighting's the same. The day's the same. I'm just going to turn around and do that exact same intersection again and see if it has the same issue. Just a little U-turn here. I got a car coming, so I'm going to go ahead and get my navigation right. And I'm going to go at a stop. And actually, while we're at it, let me see if I can do... where was my FSD Memorial I just made? Let's see, FSD Memorial Park. Let's see if that... No, now it's not giving me that. Interesting. I just created a favorite. Maybe I need to go back to edit trip. This is probably painful to watch. I'm going to add favorites. Oh, there it was. It's under favorites. And I'm going to move it up. Done. Let's keep on going. All right, you got a car behind me. I got engaged. Okay, I'm engaged now. Jumping out into traffic from a park spot. That was great. Let's see. Yeah, see, that route's kind of what I wanted. That's good. Maybe it'll park. This video may be really long. Look, it's following the car. It's not stopping. Please pay attention to the road. It stopped here before. What was different? Was it that lead car? Has to be the lead car. There wasn't a lead car before, right? No, there wasn't. All right, so see, that variability is just a little bit of the mystery of the neural networks making decisions through inference of this FSD engine. It's just a little bit spooky to not understand why something isn't repeatable like that. and how many parameters there are. Oh, it's going to run over the curb. Oh, it cut the corner a little bit. All right, it was a smooth curb. It didn't bang anything or scrape any rims. Doors are open here. You can see imagery going slow. Pay attention to the road. I was actually looking at that car, and it wanted me to look ahead. That was a scenario where I argue I was looking where I needed to be looking. Was at that VRU. 100 feet. See what it's going to do here. It should go all the way to the pin. Oh, it's going to stop here. No, don't stop here. It says 0 feet, but I'm not at the pin yet. Where's it going to stop? I might have to make it. It's got another route in here. All right, so there's a little bit of a chain here. All right, so now that I disengaged it through in those parks, so that spot's not in a good spot. I'm going to put the spot right here now. Favorite. Man, you guys are just probably fast forwarding right now, aren't you? If you guys aren't fast forwarding right now, tell me. Because I know some people really get bored with videos that start doing this. Wonder if I can overwrite it. Add to favorites. All right, we do it there. And I am going to go ahead and edit the trip, and we're going home. FSD beta return. It's available. Okay, I got a car behind me. It jumped out in front of them. That's fine. Okay, so that little experiment was fun because it took the exact scenario that stumped me and it created a different outcome just a few minutes apart. The only thing I think that was different was the lead car, perhaps giving it a clue of maybe the trajectory or the path. Maybe that pedestrian crosswalk offset sign was confusing it a little bit. Maybe I don't know, something mystified it on the first pass very clearly, and it came to a full stop. It was hesitant at first, and then it decided to full stop and required an intervention, disengagement actually on that one to go around. But here we are at this one big tree intersection. As we approach it, see that forward camera, see that big oak tree? If I creeped all the way up, that oak tree is in the limit. But if you notice right here, I can start to see to the right, and the creep where I have the best visibility is right now. My B-pillar can see just fine, and there are cars coming, but if it's gonna go, it's gotta go. And it went just fine. So that's that memory thing, where it can see things, then obstruction comes in, but it knows what was coming. Elon has already started to say the car can remember in a little bit, so you got that range that the video tokens can actually remember and have memory. It goes into the back propagation and how you actually do inference. But anyway, I'm not going to get out of my lane there talking about that. But there is a certain amount of memory that's based on how inference works and what it can remember. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Why did it make it through that intersection that time? I think it was the lead car. Anyway, I'm going to go back to a subject we were talking about a few minutes ago, and that was essentially the progress of FSD that Elon and the team apparently are comfortable with. He talked again about we have insight into future versions. They're probably implying, FSD 4 and 5. Have not seen any drivers testing 5 yet. Apparently 5 might have Cybertruck on it. And very interestingly, he reiterated that all version 4 hardware cars, this is a version 3 car, my Cybertruck is version 4 hardware, are still running in emulation mode and will run in emulation mode until the data center at Giga Texas is up and running and ready to train version 4 on its hardware, which definitely implies the hardware is going to require its own training set. So the assumption that hardware 3 would just translate to hardware 4 is false, with the exception of running in emulation mode, which essentially dumbs down, and he referred to it, because he said essentially we're going to unleash the capabilities of hardware 4, which is essentially higher resolution cameras and a little bit more compute. Well, actually a lot more compute. So that kind of clears that up. Hardware 4 cars have better cameras, but are essentially using the hardware 3 training model, so perhaps not essentially being as good as it could be. But then they talked about hardware 5, and they're actually calling it AI hardware 5. And AI hardware 5 is obviously, in my mind, the rebranding of the hardware to talk more about Robotaxi. And they said Hardware 5 should be trained and available in about 18 months. That's what he said. So 18 months from kind of right now is end of 2025. That very clearly tells me Robotaxi will probably be based on Hardware 5 and will not be available for 18 months. I think we're going to get a reveal in August, but I think we're going to get a prototype and maybe a little bit of talk about the timeline and development. But very clearly, they have not even started training Hardware 4 yet. Hardware 5 is not done or in a car, so that's going to be an entirely secondary training stack. Obviously, they're going to be building out these supercomputers. They're going to have more training time capability internally than anyone on the planet has had in a long time for this sort of training. So that's great news, but I think that's what we learned. That was my biggest takeaway on new information, was how they're thinking of Hardware 4, how they're thinking of Hardware 5, which I'm assuming equivalates to Robotaxi and any future platforms that come out at that time, and referring to it as AI Hardware 5, which probably means it's going to be much more focused on driverless, using AI inference with video. That's my assumption. Now, you can translate that AI doesn't necessarily mean robo. AI could just mean the chips are designed more for AI than the previous two hardware versions are. Or maybe they're just using a tagline, with this AI boom and all of the compute that's going into it is starting to really work together with both training cycles all the way to inference. Another flashing light there, didn't get a tug on that one. For those of you that remembered that previous one a few minutes ago, it gave me a little bit of a stop. So, I don't know. That's kind of where I think the hardware thing is going, and a little bit of timelines we can apply to this. If they're not training Hardware 4 until this fall, when they get that data center done, and oh, by the way, the data center doesn't even have walls yet. We got to see it when we took around the buses. There were some people that got a dedicated tour. The 15 people that won the lottery tour with Elon and Franz, they got to go into the data center. I spoke to a few of them and they talked about it, and Elon referred to all the H100s going in there and its compute. So there was a lot of conversation and information they got on that chat. And I talked to 3 of the individuals that were on that tour, and they said it was great. They said Elon walks really, really fast too, which I thought was kind of funny. Even the bodyguards made the comment that, yeah, you got to keep up with Elon when he's on these tours. Obviously, he was on a timeline. So that also makes me wonder about FSD on Cybertruck. Is FSD on Cybertruck going to be delayed until Hardware 4 trains itself, or is trained by itself without using emulation? That would be frustrating, because I really hope we can get some sort of lane assist or basic autopilot on Cybertruck. And Cybertruck's Hardware 4, many of you know, is essentially the Hardware 4 cameras plus a parking camera. I don't think, personally, the parking camera is going to be incorporated into the FSD stack. That is to be determined. But, that's where it is. Maybe they're making a line in the sand and just saying Cybertruck won't run in emulation mode. Maybe they're going to do emulation mode and they'll train Cybertruck later with the rest of the Hardware 4 cars. I don't know. These are all the questions we're going to get to ponder on X and Spaces in the comments of these videos and play it all the way out. But they did very clearly say that Hardware 4 training is waiting on the internal training stack that they're building at Giga Texas. And that is going to be a massive, massive data center. And they've got a lot more room inside of that building for more compute. Obviously, they're going to be working on the Robotaxi unbox manufacturing line. They're finishing up a lot of other buildings with respect to the cathode plant is there. And also, they very clearly said that Optimus will be built at Giga Texas, but probably not in the Giga Texas building. So when Optimus goes into production, it's probably going to have its own building and not be inside of the primary. All right, back in our traffic circle, no cars coming that are coming around. It just should be rolling this, no problem. Yep, that was fine. And then we should be coming up and then taking a right. This is easy peasy. This drive is going really, really good with just a few little interventions, disengagements around some. They weren't safety critical because the car just stopped. It wasn't going to run into anything today, but low traffic scenario. So I'm kind of out here by myself with cross traffic. That guy waving is confusing. It's going really, really slow. That guy's waving about car washes. Look, we got some VRUs out here that are trying to get us to do car washes. It's just treating them with kid gloves a little bit, going 18 and a 30. This road is another one of the roads that it seems to want to go a little bit slow on sometimes. Oh, but after it passed those VRUs, it sped right back up. So now it's going 35. I can't explain it. Must have just been the timing around those VRUs that were waving and kind of giving some interesting trajectories about whether or not they were going to jump into the road. Now, I got a green light in the distance, and this is one of those scenarios where a human driver might choose to gun it if they know how long that light is. Right now, it's now no longer a protected, so I've got to honor the cars coming from the straight across. I've got my blinker on. These cars have the right of way. It's waiting in a good spot. It's not going into the intersection. Now it's yellow, and it waited. See, a human driver might have gone for that yellow, but see, that was a really good decision. Let's unpack that a little bit while we're at the red light. Had it gone into the intersection to wait on those cars to give it right away, it would have been forced to proceed either at the yellow or even the red because it was in the intersection. This time, it chose to wait in a good safe spot, although I am in the pedestrian crossing, so I'm a little bit further than the stop line, which is okay. But so it waited in a safer spot for the unprotected scenario to evolve. It then turned yellow, and because it was in a safe spot, it was able to wait. That is a little bit of a new behavior, because I think in version 12.3, it was going into the intersection a little bit more. I think a few other people, including Chris, Dirty Tesla, noticed that behavior. So I'm going to give that one a good thumbs up to the AI team for maybe making that tweak or change. This is a better decision to wait. You don't always have the ability of doing it, and sometimes if you make an early, and we got protected left, and very quickly it's going out. Sometimes if you make an early jump and then the traffic scenario makes you stop, okay, fine, you're in the intersection, but at least you know where you are. It does seem to be aware of when it's in the intersection, and then the light turns yellow and red, and it doesn't panic like it used to in version 11. Version 12 goes ahead and proceeds. I'm looking down at my film. Oh my gosh, guys, we're at 43 minutes of video, and I've been talking non-stop, I think. There's no way anybody's still watching this video. No way. I'm here all by myself, aren't I? But we just got a few blocks to go. One more unprotected left. Could be a green arrow. But if I were to wrap up 12.4.1 on Memorial Park, I'm going to say this is better than 12.3.6 on this drive. And I describe FSD 12 right now as a bell curve. It doesn't do very good at the beginning and end of the drives. It does great in the middle of the drives, and then at the end of the drives, it doesn't quite know how to pull into parking spots. It doesn't know how to pull into driveways. It doesn't have all of the functions to solve those yet. So the beginning of the drives, think my unprotected left turn, which it did fine today, or the end of the drive where it needs to pull into the parking spot, or the way the waypoints don't get you to the exact destination you want, like we saw there at Memorial Park where the pin wasn't just right. Those are the spots where it's not ready for robotaxi. But the middle of the drive is really, really pretty good. And I think today we saw some very good cautiousness around VRUs that would have prevented a little bit of a weave there. Look at that. Okay, so it started going right around this tractor, weaved over to the right, but there was a car in the right spot. It put the blinker on, but it started ooching over. That was interesting. And now we got a yellow. So it did not like being behind that dump trailer there, and it kind of gave an uncomfortable blinker leaning over to the right, but it did not change lanes. I wonder if it was a closing blind spot scenario. Safely. Did not have an intervention there. No problems. I'm just noticing the behavior of it wanting to go around that truck versus essentially just waiting and slowing down behind it, especially because we're going to be taking a left turn up here in a mile. So anyway, that was my point about talking about where FSD is magical. It's magical in this center section of the drive. I did not see any of the lane change behavior. Well, although here's my first opportunity on these multi-lane roads. Now it's in the left lane for this 0.8 miles. So as long as it doesn't change lanes again, I think I'm not experiencing the issue, unless that one little behavior to try to get on that trailer was some of the issue. We'll have to definitely do some hard testing on unprotected lefts to see if the high-speed cross traffic has improved at all, the decision-making with lower latency, and we'll do that testing maybe later today or tomorrow, but I probably won't post that video today just because YouTube and the social media platforms don't like you posting too much content in one day, because then the algorithm, I don't know, maybe they think it's not fair. Okay, I got somebody in my rear end here. Oh, almost a fake there. That was a version 12.3 thing where it teased itself on an early lane change. It didn't go over too much, but I felt it go over. All right, now we're going over to the left, and now it should just do a roller after this car. It should roll this. That was a little slower than it used to do. It was cautious there, and it rolled, interesting, a little bit less smooth than it normally is on that one. All right, guys, that is FSD's 12.4.1's Memorial Park. There were a couple interventions around VRUs. There was one a disengagement at a stopped intersection in the middle of a road with a little bit of a pedestrian crosswalk scenario. But it was good. It was good. I'm not going to complain about it. Hey, if you're still watching the video, thank you. Appreciate you watching all the way to the end. For those of you that fast forwarded to the end and watched this section, well, thank you for checking in at the end anyway. Hopefully you enjoy this. Leave comments below. Expect my unprotected left-hand turn video coming up soon. And I really want to say thank you to everybody I saw at Shareholders Week that came up and said hello. That was the highlight of my week. Have a great day, everybody. So long.